The only real stumbling block is the fear of failure. But in cooking, you need an attitude of what the hell. And that's one thing I've always wondered, especially in today's day and age where you've got celebrity chefs and everything. And all these shows geared towards cooking and cooking competitions. It's, what the hell? You could be the best chef in the world. You can have so many Michelin star restaurants. You could have reward after award after award. And yet, you go on one of these shows, they take one bite, and then they pretty much ruin your entire career off of that one little taste. And that brings me to my always thoughts of, why? Why do this to yourself? It's good entertainment. It really is. It'll help you get your name out there as a chef. But at the same time, they don't have real people on these cooking shows. And some of these cooking shows are designed, deep down at the heart of the core, they're designed for real people to be on. For instance, Chopped. Great show. Well, not really one of my favorites, but contestants are given a basket full of random ingredients and they're given 45 minutes to cook. And they treat this like it's a challenge. For everybody else, that is, my fridge is empty, I'm out of cash, and I've got 5 days till payday. That's what that show is, and that's what type of contestants they need to be on there. Get a broke college student on that thing, they will be creative. And half the time with these judges, it is, I don't really like sweet potato. Sweet potato, I had 2 sweet potatoes in my basket. You can't just give me something and say, yeah, I don't really eat sweet potatoes. So, no. They set you up to fail. And to prove the point, they will always critique the contestants. But anytime it's a celebrity chef, one of their people is on that show, it's, this is going to be a really hard. They all did it so great. They had almost nothing negative to say. Almost nothing. Another show that comes to my mind right now is Guy's Grocery Games. You can run through a store, these chefs, and they're limited, and they're like, I think I'm going to do, the fish aisle's open, I think I'm going to make a nice little fillet of salmon with some risotto, or, all that other stuff. You need to have a real contestant. Put on that single parent of 3 kids, tell them they got $5 to make an entire meal. They will make the meal, and they will make sure it is good, that everybody will eat it, and they have room for seconds. And there is enough for seconds. That is the type of contestants you need on these shows. But in some of these shows, it's like such a niche style of cooking that you have to do to be on it. Right now, they always try to do theme shows for the entire network. Like, it's October right now. So you go on Food Network or the Cooking Channel, and it's like Halloween Wars, Halloween Baking Championships, and Halloween Gingerbread House. Yes, that is actually a thing. Halloween gingerbread houses. I always thought Halloween gingerbread houses were for Christmas, but apparently it goes to other things now. But these people, they spend 2 days and a lot of time. You're talking about 8 to 10 hours building these amazing, really, they are amazing gingerbread houses. And you will see them struggle with it. All the cracks, they have to start over. And then the judges, as soon as they see it, they begin poking it until it falls to pieces. This actually happened. A woman was on that show. The judges kept poking around on it. It crumbled. It fell to pieces. And then they took a little piece of what was left of the roof, nibbled on it a little bit, and said, it wasn't structurally sound, and your gingerbread is also a little bit overbaked. And then they moved on. That is not a real person. No real person would stand there and watch them do that and then critique them like that. If it was a real person, the cameras would be cut, and you'd see the person off the show, and then when they show the judges again, a bone is going to be broken. Bare minimum. Think of yourselves. And it's taking this one bite, I think, that it always makes me mad. Because in my house, whenever I was growing up, we weren't allowed to take one bite and just critique or say we're done. No. And try to think back whenever you were a kid. Imagine if you did that to your parents. They come home after working, 8, 10 hour shifts a day. You're home from school. They've dealt with all you and your siblings. They force themselves to make you macaroni and cheese and smoked sausage. And then you take one bite of the macaroni and cheese and say, you could have used more milk and the sausage is a little bit burnt. I think I'm going to pass on that. No. Your head would be in that macaroni and cheese, or you'd wake up a week later. I'm just saying, that's how life worked back then. Not so much now, but that's a topic for a different time. See, you need to have like that real parent, that real contestant on these shows, because you know that if a lot of you older people out there who are, my age or older, think of your father or your mother on this show, whoever did the cooking, whoever was the most strict, being on one of these shows. And it's just, they spent 45 minutes, they went through all the gymnastics of doing this, and then that judge just takes one bite of a steak and says, it's a little bit overcooked for my taste. I prefer it this way. That's when the dad voice would come out, and the fear of God would be in the judge's eyes. Because when dad voice comes out, it's over. You know you are going to finish that plate. But that's the whole point of all this. I mean, we try to hold ourselves up to these standards in society, like food for cooking with the Food Network and Cooking Channel and all this other stuff. And it's great shows. It's great programming if you can sit down and watch through all of it. But even whenever they did cooking shows where it just told you how to cook, even then it didn't make much sense, because they're like, okay, this recipe, you gotta make sure it takes at least 6 hours to cook it properly. And don't worry, all the ingredients are, stuff that you already have at home. It's simple, it's easy. I don't have time at home. I don't have half these herbs that are listed. And you tell me I need a specific type of lemon seed or lemongrass or something as a garnish. I mean, who really has the time? And then, I've got 2 kids to feed. I've got a spouse coming home from work. I don't have time for this. They're not going to eat this. That's why fast food restaurants are so popular right now, because nobody really has the time to cook, and you're telling me that this great recipe that everybody will love, that once it's finished cooking, even if you cooked it properly, it doesn't look like what they did, and you look at half the ingredients and say, nobody's going to eat that. That's life. That is not a TV show, and they try to hype it up as life. And it needs to stop. Because you're never going to be like a celebrity chef. You're never going to be like any of those people that can cook like that. And you don't want to be. I mean, honestly. Be the real contestant. Be the person who says, we're not going to eat this. I mean, you can love a food doesn't mean you're going to cook it yourself. Just because you love watching it doesn't mean you want to actually try the recipe. How many of you people out there save recipes on Facebook? Never once tried it. You just love the image, though. It looked good. I'm guilty of it, too. But that's the entire point of all this. I mean, you really should just be the contestant. Be the real contestant, not the one just giving it a shot. But talking of this food is actually making me pretty hungry. I enjoy cooking, but I'm not a celebrity chef. So I'm going to order pizza, and I will leave you with another word of wisdom done by one of my favorite celebrities of all time. Wise man once said, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. Michelangelo said it from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Thank you, and good night, YouTube.